Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We are running a simultaneous live stream in YouTube and TikTok. So, as you know, the protocol is you let me know your age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. So I know how far we're reaching and if you're old enough to be here. And so, fire up your questions. I'll try to answer them if they are short, like, maximum 5 minutes for a long question. Otherwise, you're welcome to go on my site, make an appointment, and we'll discuss your concerns one-on-one on Skype. But here, we try to generalize and hope that it could be of some help to you. We talk about things like thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego. We talk about breakups. why you feel the way you do, and how you can regain your balance and go on about your business and build back better. In other words, regain your balance and go for bigger and better things. And we also talk about OCD, intrusive thoughts, OCD subsets such as HOCD, and we discuss all the components of the brain involved in that glitch and how we can use the scientists' work and advice and the steps that has been discussed, such as Dr. Schwartz, who's an expert in OCD, and he has 4 steps for recovering from that, and many other experts that are available have done work on the brain and understanding the difference between brain and you, such as Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Leibit, Dr. Owen, and all the experiences. They're all in my videos. I have about 3,000 videos on YouTube, and you can list them and watch all these different topics depending on what your needs are. So let's see what we have on YouTube. We have Sarthak says, hello, Miran. Male 34, but you didn't say where. Male 34, thank you for that. Says, my mind creates doubts about my height. It doesn't matter what your mind creates. You have a certain height, you put a ruler, and it's neither shorter or longer than that. But let's read the rest of it. My voice and say you are what? Transgender, which makes but I am totally straight male and love to be like that. I read somewhere it is mind protection mechanism. Yeah, if you look at my videos, we talk about you're not the brain, brain is not you, and it's two separate systems, independent system, and the brain can say whatever it wants to say. If you recall, and we talked about in many of the videos and live streams that a human being, the Homo sapiens, been around for maybe millions of years, but only 40,000 years ago we got to have this brain. So we can't say that the brain that was added to us after we lived 44 millions of years, suddenly that which was added to us, which never existed in our life before in the way it is now, is us. And we're supposed to follow that. It's the intelligence. It knows more about us than we do. So it's nonsense. We never had this brain. We were living instinctively like animals, running, eating, sleeping, having sex, and there were no discussions or confusion about your sexuality and what you like, what you don't like, because it was all instinctive. You had no ability to think. There was no thinking abilities or speaking abilities. Words didn't have meanings. There was no speeches. So there would be no confusion, no interpretation of any feeling. You were just like a horse, like a dog, momentarily, and they would comply to what their needs were. So the fact that you are taking your cues from your brain is not doing you any favor, because brain is not you, you're not the brain. There is a video that I have that I've spoken about this in length, and let me put the link of that video here for you. It's called You're Not the Brain, Brain is Not You. You are, let me search it. If you go on my YouTube channel, the one point, THE, next word, ONE, next word, POINT, the one point, you'll have 3,000 videos, and all you have to do in the search engine, you put in "you are not," and then you'll have a bunch of videos. One of them is called "You're Not the Brain and the Brain is Not You." That is the one I want you to take a look at. It's about 45 minutes, a long one. Get your favorite beverage and just chill with it. And here's the link on it. So you will be informed. It goes back 1,000 years ago, in time of, I guess, Aristotle and what it said, and then talks about dualism and just one moment, let me put this in. So it talks about the atoms of void or the dualism. So materialists and the dualists, it talks about the history of it and the work of many of these neuroscientists and neurosurgeons who have come and through modern science have proven that you're not the brain, brain is not you. In the old times, Aristotle was talking about it 1,000 years ago, but the modern science have now proved it beyond the shadow of the doubt that you're not the brain. So if you watch that, that could help you in order to set your straight that don't give a shit about what your brain says. You are the awareness, you're not the brain. Brain is not your superior. Brain is an organ, is not an intelligent. Dr. Speary and Dr. Penfield, they've done over thousands of brain surgery, and they were able to stimulate part of the brain that in the patient would see sight. So they could localize a sight center. They could localize uh, mobility or motoring center. They could localize speech center. They would localize. They would stimulate part of the brain, and the patient would say something. Patient usually could have been awake because once you get into the brain, there are no nerve endings to cause pain when you're inside the brain. So often the patients were awake to help the surgeons to know what they're looking for to do the research. So they could never localize math center, if you want to say brain is smart. They would localize, they could never localize compassion center. They could never localize consciousness center. So brain is just an organ, like any other part of part of your body, any other organ in your body. It has its job. The liver has its job for what it does, and the kidney is the same, and the brain makes thoughts. And these thoughts, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, they're not yours. You're not even aware of them, but you become, anxious about it because it has the interpretation and the words have meanings and the suggestions make you think, oh, what does it have to do with me? There's so much to talk about this that we've talked about it in my videos, but of course, if that wasn't enough, you guys are welcome to go to mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. I make an appointment on Skype. We'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. Now, let's see. We have on TikTok, Kevin, Sally, and we have Akuna. All right. Bradley, Tiffany, hello all. And Alejandro. Then we have what? Uh, Timit, okay. Rahman, and the rest of them. Niagara guy, okay, very good. Okay. We have, what else do we have? We have Luke, what? Lukange, okay. We have that lesbian joined, okay. Welcome. Jose is here. Many others on TikTok. The funny thing about TikTok is that when we have a live stream, which is not often, suddenly we've got many, many viewers. However, never TikTokers ask any questions. All my questions come from YouTube subscribers. Some comments in live stream in this live were filtered to protect the community experience. Jesus, none of your business what the community experience. We're all adults. We'll figure it out. No, the censure started. They're making decision for us. Chappy video, restart live with all data restored. Okay. All right. I'm going to restart because it says restart. So I restart. All right. All right. Gives me a warning for low battery. Let's see if we can get it going. There we go. So I hope you guys were able to switch over as I switched, but I can't see any of you. So either you're here or not. So let's go back to YouTube. Sugarabi says, "Hey, Pop." Well, thank you for that, but I don't know your mom, so I wouldn't be your pop. Please keep it clean, guys. Otherwise, I have a sharp tongue and I'll tear you apart. So if you're here, be on your best behavior, respectful, and ask your questions. We have a serious channel here. All right, let's see. What do we have in YouTube? Uh, Eagle Talon says, I'm a 32-year-old male from Utah in America. Welcome. Says, I have a question. Does pornography withdrawal intensify HOCD symptoms? It's not the withdrawal of it, is that you're giving images that you're not interested. You're there to enjoy the whole sexual thing that the girls are there. But the brain sees it differently and takes ideas and tries to enforce that onto you, which becomes unpleasant and triggers HOCD signals. So I suggest porn is just, at one point when you're very young and you want to experience it or see what it is, so you do. But then after a while, it's just a useless thing. It makes you insensitive toward women. You may walk in the street, you see a beautiful woman, and you think she's a whore. Don't do that because you've conditioned your brain that women are only good for that. And that's all you see, the videos, the porn videos. So it doesn't serve you well and it changes your sensitivity and respect and love and emotion and so on and toward women. So I don't recommend it. At the same time, it's not, when you're going through HOCD glitch, you don't want to watch porn. If you want to watch porn, watch, girl on girl. At least it wouldn't disturb you when you're going through the glitch of HOCD. Open to work says, hello, sir. How are you doing? Thank you very much for asking. I appreciate that. Sid joined. Brian versus you says, let's debate. Debate what? We're not here to debate. If you have a question, you're welcome to ask. All right. And Sartek says, I read somewhere it is mind protection mechanism, but how it is protecting me instead it hurts me a lot. No. It's like, let's say there's a murder out in the open, at large, and they apprehend it and they put it in a jail cell. And then there are other misdemeanors or there are other criminals, but petty criminals, in other jail cells. Which one of these jail cells do you think they would shine more light and projector lights and be watching it closely? The petty criminals or the murder that they have caught? Naturally, the one that is more dangerous is going to have a lot more projectors and lights on him, and they're going to be watching it, more aware of its presence, because they're trying to protect the community. They're trying to make sure it doesn't escape. Now, when you have HOCD, you're going through that. HOCD is unpleasant and annoying to the untrained brain of a heterosexual. So what your amygdala does, it puts full force of projectors on it. In other words, it keeps bringing alerts about it, bring it to your attention, so keeps giving you alarms to be aware of it in order to protect you, to make you aware that this thing is attacking you. Hmm? So that's how whatever you read is trying to tell you that it's there. It's a mechanism to protect you. So that's the short meaning of the long discussion. Yeah. So by avoiding people and staying at home hurts a lot. How mind is protecting. I explained how mind is trying to protect you, but staying home and avoiding meeting people is the wrongest thing you can do. You need to let the brain that is uttering and giving you ideas that you see another man, you want to kiss him or you like him, or all these interpretations and all these connotations of sexual nature, which you are not in, it's not in line with your values, as you say. So, what you need to do, you need to behave in such a way that the brain sees you allow the brain to say what it does. And then once the brain is allowed to say what it does, is not being pushed away, then it stops saying it. It's like you tell a child that you can't have this ice cream, you can't have this ice cream. The child wants to have some ice cream more. But if you put about 2 kilos of ice cream in front of him and he doesn't have the craving for ice cream because it's available and I've eaten as much of it. So when you meet more people and sit with that anxiety of the suggestion of the brain about HOCD and all these rhetoric and all the uttering that it does, then after a while the brain says, well, this guy is not fazed by it. He doesn't give a shit. So in other words, he says, yeah, okay, you think I'm gay? Well, okay, I'm gay. Once you say, okay, brain, I'm gay, it doesn't mean that you actually become gay or you accept that you're gay. You're actually trying to let the brain know that, all right, thanks very much. You said that. All right, whatever, I am. Okay, I'm gay. Now the brain says, now what do I say? I don't have anything more to say. I just wanted him, you know, to think that he's gay. He says, okay, I'm gay. So it's so the brain kind of gives up, says, okay, it's like you have a crazy person in the corner of the street, and every time you pass by to go to your work, he starts cussing and debating with you and saying all kinds of things that's useless and you're not interested. The first time you think, oh, I got to respond to him, says, no, no, I'm not. For example, you pass by, he says, oh, you motherfucker, you asshole, you're a jerk. He says, well, why do you mean, say, I didn't do anything? Why do you call me a jerk? And you start debating. That's what the crazy guy wants to get you in action, activity, interchange, and interaction, because then he feels he's counted for something. The crazy person thinks I'm alive. I'm getting engagement of discussion. The brain is the same. Brain wants to think it's alive, and the way it can feel or make you think that it's alive is by occupation, creating things that, let me if I can get this battery working here before we lose it. So in order to create that occupation, that thinking, he needs to attack you with something that is not in line with your values. So you go at it and try to debate it. And that's when it becomes alive. The brain says, okay, great. But if to that crazy person, he says, hey, you motherfucker, you asshole, you jerk, he says, okay, whatever. And you pass by. After a while, the crazy guy says, oh, Jesus, I'm not going to even talk to this guy because this guy doesn't answer me, doesn't get engaged. So I don't get a rise out of it. So shuts down. Whenever you come and go, doesn't say anything. So you change that atmosphere of engagement to, okay, you think I'm gay? Okay, I'm gay. That's it. That same thing works for homosexual people that they're hit by HOCD that makes them think that they're straight. So they have to use the same kind of a tactic to get the brain to shut off by say, yeah, okay, you think I'm straight? I'm straight, great. And so the brain eventually sees that you don't give it the energy that it needs to feel he's doing something. So if you focus on the four steps of Dr. Schwartz, relabel, reframe, refocus, and revalue. I've explained that in the videos that we have. Just put in four steps Dr. Schwartz, and you'll have the video. And there's a text. Anybody who makes an appointment with me regarding HOCD, I'll send them the text of the four steps so they can read it, have it handy, so it can help them out. All right. I hope that is short enough and yet to the point. Stephen is here. Says hello, Marin. Hello, Stephen. Stephen Mail 44 Los Angeles. Thank you for that. Always thorough. Says, I just saw that you're live. I hope I'm alive. Says, I hope you're doing well since I last spoke to you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm doing all right. And go to the gym regularly. In fact, tonight, they were closing at 10, but I got there 20 to 10. I just wanted to get some biceps going, and I had four good sets. That was good enough. So now I'm back and chilling with you guys. Steven says, I'm doing really well and have had some things on my mind. I'd like to send you an email later tonight or tomorrow if you have some time. For sure, by all means. And just, I have a little glitch on my site these days, and my programmer is going to fix it. When people send me the email, they go on the site and they pay the fee, and there is an email that they put their question. The fee comes. PayPal lets me know, but the question doesn't come with it. So if you don't mind, send the question separately to my Skype or to my email. And the ones who actually go and send their question, if it doesn't come in, I'll still get a whiff of it because the PayPal tells me that you have registered. I'll email you back and ask you to send me the question to my email. Then I'll get on with it and record the answer and send it back to you. And Sartak says, so when I also saw the mail and when he avoids me, I panic and my mind, yeah. These are all fun. But, you need to go and make an appointment with me so we can go back and forth and discuss it interactively in real time. And I can answer your questions precisely on what your experience is. And then we'll show you how you can rewire your brain through neuroplasticity and techniques that you use and so on. Says, please, what? With the man to please him, so that he's accept me and respect me. Why accept me? Okay, I really don't get it here. I gotta have an appointment with you to understand what exactly you're meaning here. Let me see if I have any question here on TikTok. Says, hello, sir. How are you doing? Do you know where I could find an online job for the summer? Not really. Unfortunately, I don't know. Uh-huh. Yeah, it says, encourage your viewers to share your live and invite more friends. All right, you guys saw it. I just encouraged you. Still, we have no question from the TikTokers, but all the questions come from YouTube. All right. So we'll be here another maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I'm off doing some other things. I just wanted to say hello and see if you guys have any need for, while you guys think it over for some questions, let me fix this light. Yeah, I guess that's better. So, Kinsley. Kinsley. Are you the gentleman that was my client and you're in Hong Kong and Australia? Am I reading it right? Or it's just a different Kingsley? Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyhow, similar name. Yeah, TikTok friends don't have a question. And Eagle Talon says, I'm 32-year-old male from Utah. Says, I have a question. Okay, we talked about that, I guess. I've been trying to quit, and when I did, my depression and HOCD skyrocket. It's got nothing to do with watching porn. If that was the case, then everybody who had HOCD or any kind of OCD would watch porn and get rid of it. It's got nothing to do with that. You just got to figure out how you can deal with OCD and OCD subsets, and then learn the techniques and use it on that. And Steven says, "Okay, I'll send that. I'll send it that way. Thanks, you're quite welcome." Eagle Talon says, "How do I keep my brain from hyper fixating on whether or not I find a woman attractive? I'm straight and I know it, but it keeps popping up. I've been told not to force it and to it happen naturally. Happen what naturally? Find so how do I keep my brain from hyperfixating on whether or not I find a woman attractive? I don't understand. What does it have to do with your brain? Were you needing your brain a million years of 50,000 years ago to know if you're attracted to that woman? There was no need. The Your genetics, you see the woman, scent of a woman, look at the woman, hair of the woman, her legs, wherever it is that interests you about that particular woman, you find it sexual and you get arousal, you get excitement to get to know her, to talk to her, you like her. Doesn't need the brain. These are instinctive. These are part of your being. So the fact that you complicated trying to get permission or agreement or affirmation or from your brain, it's like it's no different than trying to say, I'm waiting for my liver to give me a sign that I like this girl or this girl is pretty enough for me. What the fuck? Liver has no intelligence to help you for that. So the brain, whatever is uttering, is not about what you should or shouldn't like. It's about intrusive thoughts or another version of the glitch of the OCD that the brain is interfering with, like many other things that it interferes. You're the boss. You're the top of the food chain as far as all the organs are concerned. You don't listen to your brain. You decide with your awareness and what's in line with your liking. And that's the end of it. Are you going to ask your friends, do you think this woman is attractive to me? No. You make your own mind and you say, I like that girl. Or I don't. Same thing. You're waiting for your brain to tell you or affirm your choice. That's nonsense. Don't do that. But unless I don't understand your question, it says also, what time zone are you in? I'm in Pacific, West Coast. Where are you located? Utah? Well, Utah, I think you're central, aren't you? I remember when I went to school in Portland, Oregon. So we drove from Portland to Chicago with a couple of my friends, long time ago. I think I was sophomore then, and we passed through Utah. And I think you are maybe an hour or 2 hours ahead of me. I'm not sure. But right now, here, we can do it right here. Right now is 12:14 a.m. What time is it there? Eagle Talon? We can figure it out right away. And says, if I want to book an appointment, I've also been told that Skype is going, yeah, Skype going away, but I've already programmed it. So I'm in the, it has changed, it has sent all my data and the contacts to Teams. That's Microsoft Teams. So it's still going to work anyhow until end of April. Skype works fine, so it wouldn't affect you if you're making your appointment within the next few days. So this is. I've also been told that Skype is going to go away. So are you going to switch platforms? No, it already switched for me to Teams. And Eagle Talon says Utah is Mountain Time. Okay, then. So what time is it over there now? It's 1:15 a.m. there. There we go, 1:15 a.m. So you're 1 hour and 50. You're 1 hour, exactly 1 hour, because 12:16 here is 1:16 over there. You're 1 hour ahead of me. So that's easy. All you have to do is to go on my site, make the appointment. My appointments are now minimum for an hour and a half, because every time I gave a choice for half an hour, it's never enough. It's never enough. Half an hour is just no good. And an hour, we always had to go over. So it was inconvenient for them to go and pay again and so on. So we now have 1 hour and a half, 90 minutes, and then it would be enough for the first session, at least, if not taking care of lots of your questions. And what else? Yeah, 1:15. Okay, good. Yeah, all you have to do is make the appointment. The system will let me know that you registered, and then it doesn't matter what time you choose or what day. It asks you when, whatnot. Doesn't matter. Just choose something, because then we will hash it out and we will go back and forth on text, on Skype, and then we'll figure out what works for you, what works for me, what my schedules are, and what your schedule are, and then we'll fit it perfectly. That's how we fine tune our appointment. Otherwise, you don't have to know exactly or tell me what time. Just fill out something as the questionnaire asks you. What time, what day? Just choose something, and then we'll synchronize it. Beef Hutchins joined. That's good. Fendi, Dakota Aishan, okay. And what else? Jason Shorty Cummins, all right. Miss what? Stanexo, okay. Nicole is here. Felicia. Felicia, it was a very famous Italian a couple that were Felicito, I guess was it? I forgot the name of them. Husband and wife, very good. As growing up, they were famous. I'm blank. Hmm. I don't know. I can't remember. Manjing tuna. Okay, manjing. Oh, fine. Lucky cabbage. Whitney. All right, then I guess we covered everything. We had lots of people on TikTok, but no questions. And Talon says, personally, I think my depression blows the HOCD out of proportion, and that's what I'm suffering from. I do need to stop with the bad habits, though, so I'm going to keep working on that. Yeah, but you see, bad habits don't come together by itself. In midbrain basal ganglia, there's a place called striatum. In the striatum, there are three circles. One is goal finding center. Like, let's say if you have an obsession that your hands are dirty, the compulsion would be to go wash your hands. So we call that goal finding center. So your goal finding is to wash your hands, to the compulsion. While you're doing that, once you did that, you have this feeling of, my hands are clean now. That it's stimulating the second center, which is the reward center. What is reward center? Dopamine center. So every time you do the compulsion, you get and that's dopamine secreted. So after couple of hundred times doing the compulsion and get the feeling, then you get addicted to the dopamine because dopamine is addictive. And no longer you're necessarily doing the compulsion, wash your hands, for the obsession that my hands are dirty. You're doing it to get the dopamine and you don't know about it. And all along, from the time that you were doing the compulsion just to get rid of the obsession, and when the dopamine comes to the picture and you're now doing it for dopamine, you're also stimulating the third center, which is the habit center. That's how it becomes a habit. First, obsession and compulsion. Then you do the compulsion, you get dopamine, and then you do it only mostly for the dopamine. And while you're doing all that, habit center have been being programmed to take that as a habit. And you won't even notice why you're doing all these things that you're doing because it's become your habit. So when you say I got to stop the habits, you got to go back to the reward center, not to do this seeking reward thing in the first cycle, so it won't affect the dopamine center, reward center, and the habit center. So it won't become a habit. Not that I have the habit, now I got to watch for it. Well, it's already a habit. So you got to go back and deal with the first cycle, and the habit will go away. Or other techniques that then we can talk about it when you have an appointment. Sartak says, please reply to this, last question, as I'm not financially good right now for a session. What was, I think I discussed whatever you asked. Says, so when I also saw another male and when he avoids me, I panic and my mind say you have to do sexual things with that man to please him so that he will accept me and respect me. Why acceptance matter? It's not that, you see, the thing is, you're thinking whatever your brain puts into your head, you're supposed to follow or find meaning for it. Don't worry about the topic. The topic of what the brain utters doesn't matter. What matters is that you say, okay, thank you for that, but you do your own thing. You don't try to stop the brain to coming up with these ideas and say, no, that's why I don't want, why, or trying to find out why acceptance. All of it is nonsense. So all you do is just you do your own thing. That's why I said the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz. You got to figure that out. As I mentioned, go on my channel and key in 4 steps. Let me put that link here. Make it easy for you. So you will then implement that. So every time you have intrusive thoughts of any kind, you see a guy and their brain says you got to do this, you got to do that, then you will use these 4 steps. And of course, there are other techniques, but that's all I can do for you now from here. You say 4 steps, and then you get the link for the many, from one of the long one, 21 minutes, is the one that I've explained the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz. And here you go. That's the link. You can watch this and you will figure out better than I can explain to you right now here in this shorter time. And Miyamoto is here. Oh my goodness, where have you been? Says, yo, sup, boss? It's been so long. Yeah, I know. What's happening with you? Miyamoto Musashi. And all right, there you go. Okay, guys, it's 51 minutes and 53 seconds. We've got 9 more minutes, and then I'll just go on, mosey on, and do other things. and our TikTok friends, and actually, as usual, don't have any questions. And my breast's biggest fan is here. Okay, thank you for that. It's an interesting call sign. Says, howdy, me fellow master. Howdy, me fellow master. Okay, you better get the what? Burnt one's ready for the field. I don't I don't follow. I don't know what that means. All right. So 9 more minutes. You guys have any question? Fire up. Uh-huh. All right. Well, okay. I guess there's no sense waiting around. There's no says okay. Miyamoto says, I'm good, Meran. Just want to say for your channel, I have recovered fully. Thank you so much. I pray to God for your success and health. You're quite welcome. My pleasure. And thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, there are 3,000 videos, guys, whether it's about thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, whether it's about breakups and what you're going through and how you can regain your balance to go for bigger and better things, or whether it's about OCD and OCD subset, intrusive thoughts, and HOCD. We've got at least 700 videos on the HOCD and OCD. We've got 2,300 videos on other topics that we just talked about, breakups and so on. So you'll find lots of answers there if you look for it. And Eagle Talent says, Sadak, his point is, oh, okay, you're talking to him. All right. Okay, guys, it's time for me to say thank you very much for being here and giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I love you all, and I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.